Hey y'all, it's Steve, Hobo with Wood. Today I'm going to show you a design. Again, this is a requested piece. This is a simple sign for an office door, and I've got three different versions that I'm going to have available, and we're going to go over all three versions. One's a layered version, and then how to customize these. So hang around. This should be a fun project to make, and it's going to be available in hobowithwood.com. Stay tuned. All right, as I said, this piece was requested from a local friend. She'd seen something on the internet and it looked kind of nice, and she said, "Hey, can you do this?" And I got looking at it. And I said, "Well, yeah, I can, but I can and I can't because that one was a combination of laser engraving and UV printing, and I don't have the ability to do the UV printing, so it'd be all 100% engraved. But there are things you can do to make it so that even an engraved piece is not just a monotone bare wood and engraving. You can use different fill patterns, different power settings, so you have different colors, different depths, and different. And we're going to look at all that, and I'm going to show you how to use these three different versions of this file, and it should be a fun little project and something to be great for either just gifts, because here these are going to be personalized. So you probably wouldn't want to make these up, or, and have them and then try to sell them. These will be made to order, right? So let's jump in here and take a look at these, and we'll see what all is involved in using these three different versions. So first, this is the thing that she sent me to say, "Hey, can you make me this?" And there were a lot of things about this design that I did not like. This is a nice piece, and it's from a customized.com, or a giftcustomized.com. It's a nice piece, and they're selling these for around 30 some odd dollars. Yeah, $38, and it's on sale for $30. And it's 12 inches, so this is something you could cut out of a 300 by 300 piece of material. But this one is using, it tells you that she's doing UV printing. You're right here. The design is single-sided, printed directly on wood with high-resolution precision UV printing. She is making it out of materials, high-quality plywood. Wood thickness measures anywhere from 3 to 5 millimeters. So using my Baltic birch, premium Baltic birch, and you can get that at this link, hobowithwood.com/premium Baltic birch. It averages about 3 millimeters, and it'll be perfect for doing this. I did the first image almost replicating that one exactly, and like I said, there's a lot of things about that design I did not like. Nothing wrong with it, it just didn't appeal to me. There are things that I would do differently, and let's take a look at Lightburn. And let me get it pulled up here. Here we go, and switch. So this is option one, and I did it kind of like they did. If we jump back over there, they've got the welcome to, and it's down below the inner circle there. So I did the same thing. I wanted to replicate it as much as possible. And I put in a bookshelf over here. They had a bunch of random flying office equipment. It looks like the lady's sitting on her desk in the middle of a tornado. Go back. So she's got coffee cups and clocks and dollar signs and envelopes all flying around her. Her glasses have got blown away. And then the name over here engraved over there. So I set it up to where it was a little bit more organized, and there's no hurricane or tornadoes going through. I just put a nice bookshelf back there with a clock on it. It's 5 o'clock. Her desk is cleaned off, and then there's a place right over here where you can put the name. So that can be personalized. Welcome to what was that on there? Jennifer. Welcome to Jennifer's office. But again, the name's going to be really, really small, and I don't like how small that name is on there. So I said, I want to do something different. So, but I did this one, took it to her, and got her feedback on it. I also opted not to have the legs coming across the office. Here it looks like she's sitting on the word office instead of sitting on a desk. I said, I want to see more of the word office, and so I put her on a desk and put her legs behind the word office. And I put this in fill mode so you can see it better. Fill. Okay. There we go. So I like that better. And so I made a few changes other than what was on there, but took it to her, and she's like, yeah, and she made some suggestions, and we come up with this. This is option 2. Let me turn this off for a second. There we go. So same thing, but instead of putting a name, a small name here, I got rid of welcome. Put a toolpath up here so you can put the name up here and center it between those two lines. And she's an insurance rep, so we had Life, Home, and Auto, and we got the insurance company over there, which is really small, but on a 12-inch piece, it'll look good. But then I've also got options where if you obviously you're going to use it, and you're not doing insurance, you can change this out, get rid of it, and I've got a cat option up here just in case she's a cat lady. But you can select the cat and get rid of the cat and do whatever you wanted to put in there. And I've got different times that you can put on the clock face. Maybe you want to be at 8 o'clock in the morning instead of 5 in the afternoon. I even have a 4:20 for those who are just really twisted and you want to maybe make it really funny, and some of you would get the joke, some of you won't. And that could even be an inside joke for you and whoever's making it. And then if you don't need this in there, then you can take that out. And I've got a 3-cross option there, or another kitty cat if you want to put a kitty cat in there. Or you can just grab that toolpath and use that as a way to put whatever art you want in there and drop it in place over here. So you can customize your clock time or this artwork and this artwork over here. You can change out the name. And when I first took it to her, she looked at it and she's like, why am I sitting there in my underwear? And I'm like, huh? She said, it looks like I'm sitting there in my underwear. And I'm like, okay, I didn't see that, but now I do. So I'm like, okay, so I added another layer here, and it's in a fill mode, so it looks like that's covering that up and filling all that. But I've used a technique that will allow me to create a pattern. So if I look at the preview of that and invert it so you can see it, blow it up. So that just creates a pattern in there, and you set your speed and power so that this layer doesn't burn as dark as the jacket layer. So you get a 2-tone jacket finish. In fact, let's look at here. Go back and go here. There we go. So there's that pattern on that piece. And this was done really, really small. It's not a 12-inch piece, so I've lost a little bit of detail doing it so small. But I'm waiting on my material to get here so I can make full size 12 inches. But that's the finished piece. But then when I shared this, a few of the people in hobowithwood.com or the Hobo with Wood Facebook group said they'd like to see it as a layered option. And I got to looking at it, and I'm like, okay, well, what could you layer there? And I said, well, if she was proud, if she was a layer on top of this, putting her out front on top of the desk and adding more depth, putting the furniture and the wall further behind her, that could actually look pretty cool. And so I did a third option. So let's close that and move that up here, back out the way. So now I've got a third option where we've still got a customizable clock, customizable artwork, customizable name, but she is a separate piece that will be engraved and cut out, and then you can glue it on top of the desk, position it so she's right above the word office, and that's going to glue on top of the desk, giving it a little bit more depth, another layer, and that'll look kind of cool. So there's 3 options here, and now I'm going to show you how to use or customize these. So if I take this one and bring it back down here, the way that I've got this pattern set up, the way I created that checkerboard look on that's a fill, but it didn't fill everything. That's a fill pattern right there, but it's not completely burnt. This is a fill. The office is in fill mode. Well, that layer there is in fill mode, but how did that create that? Well, that was done with crosshatch and an increased line interval. So if I look at that 04 layer, I changed the scan angle to 22 degrees, and I increased my line interval to 1.0 or 1 millimeter, and I've got lower power and higher speeds, so that ends up creating that crosshatch and a lighter color compared to the jacket and the letters. So that worked out pretty good. If you did not want to do that pattern, all you got to do, or you wanted to change the pattern, change your line interval, but if you wanted to leave it off, just tell it no output and turn it off, and then you got that as an option. You can do it without that fill pattern. But I like it. It gives it more definition and breaks up the monotony of the laser engraving. Now, right now, nothing is selected. If I select any part of the circle there, or if I select office, all of that is grouped. But it does not include this art. It does not include the clock or this art. So you can click on just that piece, move it around, get rid of it, drag in whatever you wanted. You say, I don't need that, I want this one. Then you would, it's currently, in fact, I just created that, get rid of that. This one, the cat is not grouped. Ungroup or undo that. But if you wanted the cat photo up there, you just select the whole thing and drag it over here and put the kitty cat over there. But if you didn't want the cat, you can just select just the cat, get rid of it, put whatever you want in there, put it down there. Once you move, let's see, grab all of it, select it all, there we go. Put it in here where you want it to be. And then if you want to change the time, you don't want it 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you want it 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, I've got a preset 8, 5, and 420 times. Just select that clock, move that out of the way, and select that clock and bring it in here, and it snaps right in there, and that's 5 o'clock, or that's 5 o'clock. That's the same time. We want it to be 8 o'clock. Actually, I'm just going to undo, put that back. There we go. You want it to be 8 o'clock, grab the 8 o'clock one and bring it in here. In fact, I'm going to undo that again. To keep everything where it's at, I'm going to Control D, duplicate that, and then just bring it in, and it snaps into place. Now it's an 8 o'clock clock. But if you did not want 8, 5, or 420, and you wanted a very specific time, then, in fact, I messed with this one, showing Craig how to do this. I'm going to show you how to set the time to be anything you want to. Craig gave me a challenge. He said, make it say 10:17. Well, there's 10:17. But let's say you want it to be, you get a 10:45 break time. So let's make it 10:45. Or no, we're just going to change the hour too. Let's say 9:45. No, because that's going to be 9 and 45 overlapping. We'll do 9:10. All right, 9:10. So first, let's change the hour. So I'm going to select that circle, or that arrow, and then I need to select this circle. it's easier to do any of the editing if this is in line mode. So I'm going to put it in line mode instead of fill mode. Say OK. Now I'm going to hold my shift button and select that circle. And now I'm going to go over here to circular array. And I'm going to tell it I need 12 copies. Do not group the results, but select the entire results. So select them. Now what hour do you want it to be? 9. Hold your control button and click on 9. And that deselects it. And now you can hit the delete button. And I'll get rid of the rest of them. Now this one, select it and hold shift, select your circle, circular array, and how many. I'm going to go back to 60 because I've got an odd time on there, or odd number. Group is unselected, select results is turned on. So turned off, turned on, and say I want the 5-minute mark. I'll hold control, deselect that 5-minute mark, and delete the rest. So now that's 9:05. Select that, hold my shift button, select the circle, go back to the circular array, 60 copies, do not group, select the results, and I come down here, I want the 9:30 mark. Hold my shift or my control button, select that one, and hit the delete button. Now it's 9:30. So now you can make that time be whatever you want to be on your clock face. Select that, and I would do that and say Control D, duplicate that, group it, and now with that grouped, I can grab the middle of that and bring it over here, and oh, I didn't get my arrows. Way to go, stupid. Undo. Did I have, there we go. Did not have my, in fact, you need to weld these together. In fact, I wouldn't do that with the original though. Select that entire thing, Control D, duplicate it, group it. Now move that over here, snap it into place, and then I would ungroup it, and now select the circle and one arrow, weld those together, and now you got 9:30. So that's pretty cool. I like how that works. Make it whatever time you want to. Get rid of that, delete it. Let's bring this one back in. So the 5 o'clock is the way it'll download. And this one is all the same way. I'll show you how you're going to adjust Leanne's. I've got the name on a separate layer. You can set your cut settings to be whatever. You might even want to do those with a pattern, a crosshatch or whatever. But to edit the name on it, you simply go to your text tool and come over there. Oh, did not want to do that. Wanted it to be, make sure it's not grouped. Yep, it's grouped. So ungroup it once. And now I've got just the text going. So now I've got these plus marks around the name because the name is attached to this path or applied to this circular path. But now if I go to the text tool, I can come over here beside the S and backspace that out and type in whatever. Oops, got my caps messed up. Cap locks off. And you can do it all lowercase if you wanted to, or not all, but or all caps. Apostrophe S, not quote, apostrophe S. And that'll put your new name in there, and you don't have to worry about spacing. This is in Bookman Old Style font. Hopefully you have the Bookman Old Style font. That was a default font on my computer. But Bookman Old Style font, if you don't have it, you can download it from probably defont.com. But now you can type in whatever name you want on there. And just make sure you have your speed and power settings set up, and whatever graphics, or if you want to do any patterns or cross hatching or anything else. but the text is on its own layer and easily customizable. I've shown you how to set the clock. I showed you how to drag it out and drop the other one in. Change out that font. That's an engravable piece that'll cut out and you can glue on top. So I think I've covered everything. I think. Now I want to show you how I got this artwork. I went to Google and Googled lady sitting on desk drawing. Couldn't find anything that I liked. Tried and couldn't find anything. I'm not going to draw out all that, especially that realistic of a person. So I went to Adobe Illustrator and used this artificial intelligence in Adobe Illustrator to create a drawing. And that's what I asked for. I asked for a black and white drawing of a woman sitting on a desk. And it generated about a half a dozen. I didn't like those. I generated some more. I didn't like those. I think I generated about 24 or 25 different versions. So I finally found two that I liked. And it was a combination of the two. One is the woman you see that we've been using with her sitting on the desk, palms on the desk. And the other one had a woman standing in front of the desk, but it had more office furniture in her back, and I liked that. So I used a combination of the two, and let me show you how I did that. So this is one of the drawings that the artificial intelligence generated, and I don't know if she does international business, but this clock's 10 minutes to 3, and this one's what, 4 o'clock or 12:20. Either way, but even if she was international, wouldn't the minutes be the same? The hours be the different? That was kind of screwy, and I didn't know what this was over here falling off or propped up against. So I didn't like anything about that bookshelf, but I liked the lion's share of this bookshelf. And I was like, okay, well, if I can take that bookshelf and integrate it in with this woman. Now, this one I already traced. This one was a plain image of her just sitting on the desk, and I just traced it out. And I said, all right, well, I want to get this bookshelf. How do I get that bookshelf? And this is an image. You can see right here, this is an image. So what I needed to do was cut that out. So I took my rectangle tool, and we'll put it on a toolpath. And I drew that, and it didn't change the toolpath. But I come down to right about there, just above that plant. And let's bring that to the front. So if I drop that layer all the way down to the bottom, that'll bring it to the front. All right, so that looks good. It's just above the plant. I've got all of that. In fact, we can bring this in a little bit. I don't need all. Actually, it's irrelevant. I've got all of everything I want to keep. So now I'm going to. I've got that selected. Hold my shift button and select the image. Now right click. Apply mask to image. That gets rid of her, but she's still there. If I move this, well, take it back. If I move just the image, there she is. So there's just a mask that masks off part of the image. Well, I want that much of that bookshelf, right like that. So now right click and flatten mask, flatten image mask. And that cuts away all the rest of it. And now I've got just that piece. But I don't want that image. I want it to be an SVG. I want it to be a draw, not an image. So now I'm going to right click and trace the image. And that looks good, and say okay. And now I've got that, and put it on the black layer. Put that black layer back in fill mode. So there is my bookshelf. So I used that and positioned it where I needed it to be within my circles. sized it up, made it where I wanted it, sized it, and then welded it to those circles. And that's how I got that bookshelf from a different image to put in there. So that's pretty slick. Excuse me. So that is original artwork created by an artificial intelligence. So I'm not copywriting anybody's stuff or infringing on anybody's copyrights. Completely redesigned the pre-existing image that was shared with me. So I'm not even copying hers. Hers did inspire me, and I just put my twist on what was there. So not a whole lot of... It was not an original idea, but I made it mine. And then I've got it 3 different versions here and completely customizable, changing different artworks, changing the clock time, changing the artwork on the shelf, editing the name to make it whatever you want it to be. I think it's a pretty cool design, and it is available on hobowithwood.com, and you can get that. I'm just gonna put all 3 of these in one file, and you go back over here, you can see what she's selling these for. Hers is the UV printed version, and a 12-inch piece. She's selling them for $30. You know, without the UV printing and having a little more detail going on, I feel like you could still sell those for $24, $25 a piece all day long, and all you got to do is put you a little rope on the back, to hang it, and that could be just glued on there, because that's that what does she call that? Root rope or rope? What is it? Jute rope, root rope. Sound like the dog on the Jetsons. Ruh-roh. Jute rope. I'm actually going to probably configure some type of little mechanism to attach the rope and then glue that to the back. In fact, why not? Let's take a look at that. You know how my videos are. Squirrel. What I think I may do is something kind of simple. I will have just a rectangle that's cut out, and if I'm doing it out of 3mm wood, I will have a 3mm slot that I'll put in the center of that, and that'll be glued directly to the back. Then I'm going to take this piece and have a piece that will insert into this slot. In fact, to actually make it stronger, I'm going to put my anchor point in the middle. I'm going to do 6mm. And then I'm going to draw a rectangle and put a couple of holes in here. Shift, bring that out, and what is that? 7. We'll do a 8mm hole. Duplicate that. Control D, duplicate it, bring it over. Select them both, group them both, put that in the center, and then I want to have a 3mm slot or tab. So it's 3mm. Unlock my aspect ratio. And we'll make this 50, so it's about 2 inches. So this one will be 50 by 3. Put it in the center, and Alt Shift V, and weld that together. And then I'll do 2 of these. Control D, duplicate that. Cut out 2 of those and then glue those together. So that'll give me 6mm wide tab that I can slide into there. So it'll be 3mm wide glued to the back, and then this piece would be glued in and sticking out like that, with the hole, 2 holes cut in the middle of it, like there. We're looking at the profile, the cutaway view. So then I can take and put my jute rope down through here, and then tie a knot on the end of my jute rope so it can't feed back through. And that would pull up, you know, against that once she's, you know, tied a knot, and then you can hang it. I think something like that would work okay and be better than just gluing the jute rope onto the wood. You know, I've seen people just take a hot glue gun and just lay a dab of glue on there and then take the jute rope and stick in that. That's going to work okay until you get home, and then the customer gets home and she's like, hey, my rope come off. So I'm going to play with something like that. You could use just a little hanger. You know, make sure you use very small screws that's not going to go through your 3mm material, and put a little alligator hanger on there. You could even glue, make your own alligator hanger out of wood and glue it on there. But I want to have that jute rope like she's got. I just like that extra, that makes it more countrified and looks good on the laser engraved piece. So whenever I finish this hanger, which I about did, I'll make it a little bit nicer. I'll include that with the file when you download it as an option that you use or don't use. But there'll be 3 files, 3 different versions of this same sign. All the extra artwork, the extra clocks. You've seen how to adjust the time on the clocks. You've seen how to personalize the name. I think I went over everything. And this will be on hobowithwood.com, hobowithwood.com. If you are a patron, if you're a gold patron, you get these files for free. Silver patron gets them 80% off. Bronze gets them 60% off. And I think with this one having 3 different versions, 3 different signs, I think I'm going to do these at, oh shoot, how much? What would a design of 3 signs like that be worth? I've spent the better part of 3 days putting all these different ones together. So let's do, oh man, we'll put them out there for $5.99. $5.99 for all 3 signs. At $6, it's about $2 a design. And these are selling online all day long for $30 a piece. You've got $2 in material plus your time plus your jute rope. You got, you know, $3 in material rounded up high, and you're getting 10 times your return off of that. It's pretty darn good. All right, if you have any questions, you can always hit me up at hobowithwood.com, hobowithwood.com. Consider becoming a patron. Get over to patreon.com/hobowithwood. You'll get these files for free if you go gold. Plus, all the digital files are available for free. I do ask that those that become patrons in gold limit their downloads to $40 a month, and I have a throttle on the coupons that I issue that will only allow you to download 40 a month. So you're getting double your investment back. But if I come out with a new design and you've already downloaded your $20, you're like, hey man, you just dropped that and I really would like to have it and I don't want to wait till next month, I'll send it to you. But that's just to prevent anybody from signing up, downloading $600 worth of goods, and then canceling their sponsorship. I actually had somebody do that. His first name's John, and I'm not going to be a Richard and tell you his last name. I'll just be polite. But John did that to me. And if you happen to be watching, you know you're a real Richard, John. A real Richard. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the patrons and all your support that are already patrons. Seriously, consider becoming a patron. It is the best deal going for free designs like this. Quality designs that are designed in Lightburn for lasers. They are, and any of the things that I've done with the artificial intelligence, I've then taken, trace those, clean those up, and they are Lightburn ready. I do not put any files out there on my site for sale that I have not tested myself in Lightburn. I guarantee them to be Lightburn ready. I'm going to put this video as a link in the description on the website for this item so people can see this as a reference on how to do these things. I appreciate you hanging around and watching. Please hit the subscribe button if you're not a regular subscriber already. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the reminder button so you can see those new drops when they come. I am Steve, Hobo with Wood, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for hanging out.